Today we're reviewing a Kickstarter that's a bit different than our norm. Normally we look at tabletop products, but this one is meant to go on your wall, not a tabletop. The Dice Palace 2.0 Kickstarter by Kakapopo TPG is all about dice storage and display. Now I've done stuff with Kakapopo before, and I like working with them. I get a percentage if you buy anything from this using my link, and I want you to know that before you see my review. That way you know if I'm biased or not, and you can take that into account. So I'm going to try and be pretty unbiased as we go through this, and let's take a look at the first product. This is called a Dice Hive. Now it's got a foam insert with a soft backing on there, and it's pretty darn soft. You can even write little messages in it if you want to. But these little inserts that are within the insert, don't throw those away once you take them out. I have an idea for those later. My first worry with this product was that the foam was going to be brittle and just break the second you push a little too hard on it. But that doesn't seem to be the case. It has a little bit of give to it, which is nice because otherwise I would definitely break it. I am prone to do that. It comes in two different size foams, and you get both size foams whenever you order one of these, which is great because I have one I vastly prefer over the other. It's got the same soft backing no matter which one you buy though. It's just the insert that changes, and it fits any normal set of dice with no problems. I make handmade dice, and so this is a set of dice that I put in there, and my dice are a little bit larger than something like a Chessex set, and they have no problem fitting in the smaller insert. There's two inserts, one that's meant to hold larger dice and one that's meant to hold smaller ones. My first problem that I noticed with this was my dice are slightly larger than most Chessex, and they sit pretty far in the back, and it gets a little dark, and it's hard to see them once they're on display. It's just a very thick set of foam. I wish it was like a 1/4 inch thinner for the small one. But you can take these little back inserts things, cut them to size, and then they will sit more towards the front, more easily able to be displayed, which is its own issue in that you have to do something different if you want it to be like that, but it still fits everybody's dice, no problem. This is another maker, Dicebound. Their dice fit in there with no issue whatsoever. If you do have a larger than normal size set of dice, like this shell dice that I've made, they will not fit in those smaller inserts. Some handmade makers or shell makers or even those liquid core spinner, it's not that big a deal to me since they send you the second insert that can hold larger dice like this. It'll hold pretty much anything that's not advertised as a chunk D20. My shell sets fit in here with no problem, and I prefer that one vastly. Because of how wide the actual hexagons are, they shine a lot more light in, and you can even see your smaller dice sets with no problem. So visually, I prefer it. I tried to do a durability test with this, and really I found no issues. It's an alloy frame, so it's metal, so you're not going to really damage this unless you are actively trying to. I tried to bang them against each other. One of them didn't get any scratches, and one of them got the minorest of scratches. And it's an acrylic front, so you don't really have to worry about breaking it. I tried to bend it back and forth here and see what I could do to it. And I mean, putting a decent amount of force in it, you didn't really have much issue. Taking a break from the wall displays, let's look at their dice trinkets. And I don't really have much of an issue with these. They have the same designs that their Lord of the Dice did. They've got the Minotaur on the front, just like it is here, and they've got 6 different designs. The only weird thing is, it doesn't really feel appropriate for the Kickstarter that it is. This feels like it could have been its own Kickstarter, but I guess it is technically dice storage, just for miniature dice, because it will not fit any normal set, which I'm glad that they send you a set of dice, because I don't have that many dice. At least the ones they send you are definitely legible. Even this super gold set, which I love by the way, is legible, which often is an issue with tiny dice like that. As far as the actual designs, it's kind of up to personal preference. They have 6 different ones. Like I said, they're the same designs that are on their Lord of the Dice Kickstarter. A lot of people really like those. I know I really like their Lord of the Dice, like all dice in one Kickstarter thing. As far as the font size, it's about the same size as a warning label on glue. Still working on those glue dice, by the way. And it comes with this chain if enough people back the Kickstarter. The chain has a belt loop lock. I'm not sure what it's called. It's whatever they use for a pocket watch. It's very accurate. I would have preferred it be carabiner style on both ends because I just want to hook it to my backpack rather than I want to my belt loop. But visually, they're all very pleasing. It's got a Kraken design, a Western Dragon style design, which has the most legible dice. It's got a Minotaur, an Eastern Dragon, a Beholder, as well as a Phoenix, which is my favorite one by far. I expect any of the build or polishing lines to go away on those, much like this prototype version of their Lord of the Dice that I have on the right compared to their final product. It's always way more finished when you get the final one from them, at least in my experience. But I can't guarantee that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Dice Swarm. I have to turn the lights off because the acrylic's so dang shiny for us to be able to see it as I open it up. This thing is a monster. It is massive. It holds 22 sets of dice. Let's go ahead and turn those lights back on now that you can see it a little bit better. And okay, yeah, you can't see again. Let's just go ahead and leave that lid up. This to me is the star of the show. The Dice Swarm is what I envision most people wanting out of this Kickstarter. Kickstarter. It holds 22 sets of dice, and it holds them pretty comfortably. This set of dice has an extra d20, and it fits in there with some finagling. Even my larger sets, like my shell dice, fit in there without much issue. It can fit their freaking pocket watches in there with no issue whatsoever. Most normal sets, like this metal set or a Chessex set in there, have no issues at all, and it looks really good when you have a bunch of sets in here. The only one I couldn't fit in was this Heimdallr set of liquid core dice. Again, it just happens to be too large. I think that their issue comes down to their D4. It can technically fit, but you can see as I'm trying to close the lid here, it does bow the foam, and I don't want this to be ruined long term. Funny, the D20 is the same size as my shell set, but because the D4 is slightly different and it's this diamond shape rather than the pyramid one, it just won't fit in there as well. But 98% of sets that you're going to have will fit in there without much issue at all. If they're smaller sets, they will kind of gather down towards the bottom, like this metal set here, compared to a larger handmade set like these. They sit in there without much issue, but smaller ones will kind of fall down. I mean, that's just gravity. I'm sure you could try and fight it. It looks great held up against a wall. It's pretty sturdy. It's got two little hooks that hold it without much issue. You can take it on and off really easily. I have no problems doing it just with one hand. It's kind of the same way for the individual ones, the dice hives. They look great. These to me scream more. I have one really fancy set I'm very proud of. I want to take it off with me, go traveling, and go somewhere to do something. But the dice swarm is the one that I imagine you are going to want at home, where the dice hive is I'm a traveler and I have one set of dice that I really like to display, and because it's so durable, it's nice to travel with these. I wouldn't worry putting them in a backpack or a suitcase. They're made of metal and acrylic, not glass, and the acrylic's shiny enough you can see my bald head in them. I'm going to show off a few add-ons that they sent me as well. These are just things that you can add to the Kickstarter. They're products they have that I've just never shown off because I've never had them, and they sent them to me just as a gift. So if you are curious about what they're like in person, the Dice Archive is essentially acrylic drawers that have magnets on the side of them that make it easy to move around. I think it's really cool. The Dice Fasts are essentially dice boxes or card boxes in the shape of milk boxes. They're kind of funny. They have some cool things on the side of them. They have kind of a 3D printed feel to them, so I know some people don't like that. They do come with some card inserts in there so you can separate cards, but they're just kind of a neat little dice box. If you like them, you like them. If you don't, you don't. They're a little gimmicky. I figured they were add-ons and I had them, so if you were curious, I could show them off. All in all, I think it's a cool Kickstarter with an asterisk because I don't think that these stopwatch ones really fit with the other wall style frame displays, but whatever, you buy them separately, so I guess that doesn't really matter. I think the main reason I like it too is the price is pretty reasonable. The hives are around 15 bucks, same thing with the trinkets, and then the swarms are 25 bucks. Normally a lot of Kickstarters really jack up the price on these, and I would expect the swarm to be like 50 to 60. And so finding it about the same price as a comparable sized picture frame, I think is really, really nice. It's able to display something that I'm proud of, especially when I make them, so I like it a lot. If I were to rank them, I like the Dice Swarm the most, and then the Dice Hive, and then last but not least, I just don't really know how it fits in this Kickstarter, are the Dice Trinkets or the stopwatches filled with mini dice. They're cool, they're just a little bit more niche. Let me know in the comments down below if this is something that you would buy or if I'm just in general blinded by my love for dice. I'll put a link in the description down below if you are interested in buying them. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. I want to hear that too. Either way, I hope that you have a fantastic day.